We are live from Byron. We're underway as the Tigers take on the Indians in Marengo in this night game. A little bit of a chilly night. It had rained earlier, a little bit of a muddy field, but really perfect weather for soccer. The lights are on as we see Delaney Hennert now getting the ball situated for a goal kick. In goal there with a high vis is sophomore Mackenzie Lemke, and just below us, that's Aaliyah Roshai working. She and Bryn Green, the forwards this evening. There's Addie Fuller, the senior, with the throw-in. Byron in black, Marengo in white. As the Tigers try to get something going here, it's 0-0. Again, as we're just underway in Byron, and we're glad to have you along. We had a little problem with our feed earlier, and we see now that our numbers are growing. You found us again. So no scoring. We'll try to get you the rest of the Byron players as time allows. Meanwhile, Roshai chips one forward to Green. Numbers favoring the defense there. Lots of white jerseys. A little triangle there with Fuller and Green. Ooh, a little fancy footwork there by Green. She wants to work. Takes it in. She's got a shot opportunity right at the keeper. Great opportunity created there by Bryn Green. Her left-footed shot, however, right at the keeper, and it remains 0-0. There's Addie Fuller down below us. You can see Claire Henkel, the senior, with a long blonde ponytail, wearing number 5. Fuller quickly ahead, kind of into no man's land there. It's going to be taken by the defense, and the defense becomes the offense. Here comes Marengo. Nice center. See the beautiful tiger paw out there, by the way, at midfield, and knocked out of bounds. Listen for these other players for Byron. Delaney Hennert, we saw her earlier. Aubrey Fuller, the sophomore younger sister of the aforementioned Addie. Darlena Flores is our stopper. Glad to have Brooklyn Kilduff back after an injury that kept her out early in the season. Of course, it's still early in the season, but for the first couple of games. Ella Haynes will be back there defensively along with Henkel. And Ava Salo and Macy Groherring round out our midfield. Addie Fuller getting a lot of work on the throw-ins here just below us on this near sideline. Roshai. She's always easy to spot with those bright yellowish green spikes. You can see that in contrast to our broadcast earlier this week, the wind is not nearly the factor that it was. Hennert, she'll try a pass, we'll call it, down there towards the end line. Wasn't sure what she was looking for there, but tracked down by the offense, so something able to materialize here for Byron. Marengo comes in undefeated. Similar to Byron. Byron, we do have the one tie. But somebody tonight, well, I was going to say somebody's going to get their first loss, but that may not be the case. You can have a tie in high school soccer. Let's hope that's not the case. Let's see if the Tigers can get something going. And another try by Bryn Green. Tried the near post just beyond and harmlessly out of bounds as Wheeler and Dale check back in. 2 fresh forwards, fresh legs, replacing Roshai and Green, as you can see, coming out. They'll take a little breather. Riley Lynch, a sophomore transfer, is out there. Number 17 as Wheeler saves it. Back to Henkel. Love to see the defenders getting high up the pitch with their lines. Kind of play wing backs, if you will. As Henkel, look at them push that line up. Meanwhile, isolating on the keeper, finds a player. Stolen, chipped up by Dale, and tracked down by the agile keeper of Marengo. She'll punt it away. Henkel in hot pursuit, saw it carry him out of bounds. And again, Addie Fuller doing the honors here on this near sideline with the throw-ins. Off the foot of Wheeler, Marengo. Fuller working. Lynch chips one forward. Ooh, right between the defenders. It's a foot race. Tracked down, though, by the defense. Henkel waited for it to go out of bounds. It finally does. And Henkel will do the honors. No score, by the way. I'll try my best to say that as often as we can on the broadcast, as our camera will not reach the scoreboard. So I'll remind us of the score as often as I can. It's still 0-0 here in Byron. Under the lights. Nice touch for Hennard. Then she passes it far forward. Baxter was there but couldn't track it down. Marengo throw in. Hey, spread the word that our broadcast is live and running tonight. If you've got grandma or mom or dad on a business trip, or maybe you're just a fan, spread the word. Let somebody know about our broadcast. We'd love to have you along. Marengo into their half now with an opportunity. Henkel there to close out. Great job and a little back heel touch to get it towards the sideline. Marengo, though, still with possession. There's a chip shot towards Lemke, and she handles it with ease. And again, that rain, there was a lot of rain earlier. Well, I shouldn't say a lot, but there was some rain. As an old baseball guy, the ball would always slide right off of the grass on a base hit. And in that case, we wondered if something similar might have happened, but Lemke made it look easy. A trio of Tigers will check back in just a moment. All juniors. We'll get their names in a moment. Meanwhile, Marengo on the throw. Henkel. And then back to a Marengo player, and they tried the far post. Nothing there, but a valiant effort as the trio now becomes 5. Roshai and Green, all juniors, by the way, back in. They'll take over the forward position once again, and then a host of other juniors in Salo and Groharing, and then Kilduff back in for Byron. All right, pretty even match so far as Hennard knocks one forward. A little Karam over to Groharing. Groharing ahead to Roshai. A little something brewing here for the black jersey Tigers. Roshai, a little right pass into the center, back to Roshai. She'll center it. A one-timer for Green, and it's good. Goal for the Tigers. Great ball movement between the ladies out there. In Roshai with the assist to her junior counterpart, the forwards, on a nice job setting the table by Groharing. And the Tigers lead it 1-0 here in Byron. If you're listening, by the way, let us know who you are and where you're from. We'd love to interact with you. Meanwhile, Byron with the early lead. And here they go again down that far sideline. Kilduff with the momentum, but knocked away by a defender. Throw in. White jerseyed Marengo Indians with possession, nearly dispossessed by Bryn Green, and then Roshai was there all the way back to midfield. There's Darlena Flores, the stopper. We'll miss a couple of players in the lineup tonight, namely Ari Irvin, who is not able to play tonight. She's under protocol for a concussion. Who's normally back there on defense as well. There goes Henkel. That a baby. Watch her work. And just knocks it out of bounds. Just slow things down and allow the rest of the defense to take shape. Grow-Herring working. Used to a much smaller court. Grow-Herring, the first-team All-State basketball player. Now on a much larger stage, literally speaking, for the junior, who played a little part in that last goal. In fact, all three basketball players part of that last goal, with Roshai, the assist, and then Green finally scoring. All right, there's Fuller back there. Tell you what, Marengo does a nice job with the passing, maintaining possession. Coach Stavnum knew what he was up against this evening, so he's bringing the midfield back at times to offer the tenacious defense necessary to combat the strong offense of Marengo. Near sideline. Roshai didn't like it. Had the ball kind of kicked right into her shins, but ball punted up towards midfield. That orange tiger paw that we didn't have a couple of nights ago. And I tell you what, Coach Stavnum's strategy is paying off as numbers forward several times for Marengo, but too many black jersey defenders for the Tigers. Point being, Byron not making it easy for the offense of the visitors from Marengo. Ball changing hands out at midfield. Hennert knocks it forward towards the far sideline. Marengo will turn things around and stopped by Haynes. Haynes, Salo, Hennert gets a touch. Nobody wants possession. But Hennert, the senior, she'll take over down that far sideline and then knocked away by the defense of Marengo. All right, ball into a dangerous area there, but a little right foot forward for Grow-Herring without much pace and picked up by the Indians. Grow-Herring still working, though, to get it back for Byron. Nice job by the junior. Bryn Green, over to Roshai. Why, I oughta. There's Henner down there. She knocks it forward right into a defender. You get the feeling Byron's poised to score a second goal. My fault. Of course, as I say that, here comes Marengo on the counter. Flores has other ideas, though, as she knocks it forward. There's Bryn Green. She'll knock it back into the area. The penalty box, as we say here in the United States and abroad. I watch a lot of the football, and my English teams, the Premier League, they call it the area. Either way, the penalty area, the penalty box, as Bryn Green now works just beyond that. Grow-Herring, a little back heel. Nice. Love to see the skill. And then Henkel knocks it off a defender. A little pinball action down there. Marengo saves it. Got two Byron players nearby, and it's a Byron throw, they say. Nicely done, ladies. Henkel, number 5. Grow-Herring back to Claire. Claire tries to center it. She does, but nothing there as it kind of sliced away. Bryn Green is going to try a little something, and it's off the top of the goal. Delaney Hennert had a goal like that a couple of nights ago. And sometimes you just got to try, right? And Green was just inches away from Byron's second goal of the evening. Thank you, Mrs. Dale. I tell you what, this is fun. It's fun to see the girls under the lights. We appreciate you guys, all that our parents do for these athletes. There's Kilduff. Nice looking throw into Hennert. Hennert back to the far side, and Kilduff sends one into the area, if you will. Marengo, they really haven't had a chance to catch their breath back on defense here. Look at Roshai work. Back to Hennert. Hennert's going to chip one. This one, a field goal as it sailed over the crossbar. Gents, how much time left? 14:30 left in this opening half. Byron in the lead, 1-0. Folks listening, apologies. This is a beautiful press box that they've built here in Byron, but if they had to do it all over again, they might have put a window on the south side so we can see the scoreboard. But, beggars can't be choosers. We're blessed here to have this beautiful press box. There's a shot, top, and a great job by the keeper there with Roshai nearby. I tell you what, Byron pouring it on at this point. And that's what you got to do. You got to keep trying. Why not? Green. Salo. Ooh, Salo took a shot last game and had to come out. Very physical Pecatonica match earlier in the week. That would have been on Tuesday the 1st. Good to see Salo back out there working. Haynes ahead. Defender had it skip by. Yeah, Marengo in possession and finally knocked forward, but out of bounds. It was very windy, by the way, on Tuesday. And it was uncomfortably cold. I think the girls were cold, right? When you're out there running around, you feel great, and then you get on the bench and you start to freeze, and you couldn't wait to get back out. So not nearly as bad of a night. I saw some parents, some friends over there on the far sideline, and I think they're doing all right tonight, despite this night game. All right, Hennert sends it forward. It caromed off a defender and then controlled by Marengo to that far sideline. It's been all Byron here this last 10 minutes or so, as they'll see if they can get their second goal of this opening half. 1-0 Byron, approaching the 10-minute mark. You can always see Salo out there, or Roshai with a high vis, the yellow cleats, the spikes, the boots, as they'd say in the United Kingdom. All right, Marengo got a little something going, and I tell you what, soccer, despite the last 10 minutes or so of Byron controlling the ball, soccer, the momentum can change in the blink of an eye. The counter attack, they call that. And Marengo had a little something going and earned a free kick on the foul. So they'll set something up. Here comes the defense of the Tigers. In fact, every player to the right of your image there, every Byron Tiger is to the right. And you can see Roshai and Green were offering a little wall, showing their backside to the ball. All the way back into the box, and there's Mackenzie Lemke. Assertively corrals it and holds onto it for a moment. Lets things clear out and punts it towards the near sideline. Looking for Groherring and out of bounds. Important thing, Lemke made the save and got it out of there. Henkel, Roshai, green. In fact, they got a little tandem of those neon spikes with green and Roshai. Green in the pink, Roshai in the yellow. Meanwhile, Grow Herring, excuse me, with the keeper falling on the ball, pouncing on it, if you will, to take control, and she will come out and punt it away. Hennert knocked it forward to Salo. Delaney, right side, has a player. She's got somebody down there in Kilduff. Little ambitious of a pass. Kilduff couldn't track it down, and Hennert, meanwhile, gets it back, knocks it forward, and then slicing out of bounds. And I love Hennert's approach. She had a goal that way from distance on Tuesday. All right, Wheeler coming back in, along with Lynch, Riley, the transfer. As Bryn and Roshai having a little fun with it, and they'll check out, get a little rest, a little breather. Another player, by the way, that I can't wait to have back in the lineup for Byron is Ashley Wickman, who very sadly suffered an injury against Rockford East, I think it was, a year ago, and tore her ACL, but she's been in recovery. She's been doing her PT, and we can't wait to have that sophomore back for the Tigers. Don't want her to rush it. She got a nice long career ahead of her, but we'll be ready to have her back for Byron. All right, see, Marengo working, but Grow Herring dispossesses. And then the Indians back with it again, but too many black jersey Tigers defensively, and Marengo just can't get anything going. 8 minutes and 20 seconds left in this first half of play in this night game from Byron. It'll be a Byron throw. Delaney Hennert will do the honors. Ooh, little hip check there to Wheeler. But Byron maintains possession. Hennert ahead. There goes Wheels. Hennert into the center for Salo. Ooh, it's getting physical out there, folks. Getting feisty. Far sideline. There's Marengo with the ball. There's Lynch, the transfer. Came and stole it away, but knocked out of bounds. All right, Marengo with the throw. Look at that beautiful tiger paw out there. Our home field is nearly complete. Maybe a little bit later, we'll show you some of the damage to the surface. You can see it just a little bit there at the bottom of your screen as they put the hay out. But at halftime, maybe we'll try to show you. And by no fault of anyone's, I mean, they had to build this beautiful press box, but it was not kind to the grass. But other than that, the goals, look at that at the top of your screen. The goals look beautiful. The field is looking good. The lights are on. The team looks strong. As Kilduff will check out. Henkel with the throw. Here comes Marengo. Hennert had seen enough of the ball in this area. She knocks it forward. Ooh, and then very conservatively knocked away and out of bounds by the defense of the Indians. So it'll be a Byron throw. Grow Herring trying to establish some space there. And a throw in. There goes Salo. Henkel sent it forward. Very ambitious there as it sailed out of bounds. Another goal kick for Marengo. Ooh, boot stolen away by Salo, but just a little bit of a heavy touch there. Still Byron's ball. Grow-Herring, an Indian player, working. Grow-Herring in pursuit. There's Salo the junior. Ooh, there's Peyton Baxter who knocked it forward. And I know one player that's been staying warm tonight is that goalkeeper for Marengo. She's had to really work, who tracked it down. To Wheeler from Hennert. Ahead, looking for Lynch. And the defender knocked it back to her own keeper to stop the Byron threat. All right, punted out to midfield with 5 minutes left here in the first. Byron 1, Marengo 0. Salo chips it ahead. Let's see if Wheeler can get there. She does. A little back heel, turns it. Back to Salo. Defense there trying to knock it away from the area. And stolen back once again by Salo as her pass caroms off a defender. There goes Baxter. Nothing there as one of the captains for Marengo tried to knock it forward. A little left foot, not a good one, stolen by Grow-Herring. And then Salo to Hennerts. A head ball, Haynes. She's using everything to stop the ball's progress, and it paid off as Hennert comes over. Ooh, no call. Okay. I thought we'd potentially have a foul call there, but Hennert was knocked from behind and went into a little cartwheel. No call. All right. You could watch the replay later if you'd like. I mean, you got to let them play a little bit, right? But all right, Marengo throw in. Remember, under 5 minutes here in the first. Byron in the lead, 1-0, all the way back into the box. And Lemke and Grow-Herring and a couple of others were able to just watch it sail harmlessly out of bounds. Close. Too close for comfort, perhaps, for some, but Tigers continuing to maintain their 1-0 lead. Delaney Hennert, she'll do the honors on the goal kick. Here it comes. Sails it all the way out to midfield. Ella Haynes, one of the seniors in this group. There's Henkel, another senior. Salo, the junior, forward. Come on, forwards. We got to. All right. Somebody watching later say, Burris, we don't need any of your lip. But we had a little something cooking there. But now the line catches up. Here we go. Bryn Green, Roshai. Again, Roshai with a neon yellow. Grow-Herring. Oh, I think that was a handball in the box. No call. Henkel chips it forward. Sails just beyond the near post. I thought I saw a handball, and I think everybody up here in the press box agrees with me. That's in the box. It should be an automatic penalty. That's why they call the penalty box, people. Anyway, no call. Nobody asked me, but I tell you. It's a lot easier to see things from up here in the press box, by the way, in case you're wondering. You know where else it's very easy to see things if you're watching a ball game? Your couch. Hey, why didn't that guy call that? You know. Meanwhile, Roshai, one person to beat. A great job kind of boxing her out by the defender, and then towards that far corner, still in play with 1 minute now remaining in this opening half. We got a ball game, folks. This is exciting. Salo back to Henkel. Henkel will track it down. No stoppage time, by the way, at this level. Stoppage time, somebody wonders. Professionals, every time the action stops, they add a little bit of time on, right? They will not do that. So when that siren sounds, that'll be all she wrote. How much time, guys? 30 seconds. Is it enough time for the Tigers to get that second goal of the half? They lead at 1-0. Bryn Green dispossessed by one of the captains of Marengo. Salo gets it back. Here we go. Salo, not much time left. Forward, no offsides. It's Roshai. Roshai. Oh, just missed that near corner. And there's the siren. The opportunity presented itself, but the fates would have none of it as the Tigers maintained their lead of 1-0. A very exciting first half and an exciting finish to that first half as Byron had an opportunity but could not punch it in. All right, I'm going to put the headset down, take a little breather, and I encourage you to do the same. But we will not turn the stream off. We'll keep the camera going, and we'll be back here in just a couple of minutes for round 2 of this punch-out between the Tigers of Byron and the Indians of Marengo. We'll be back in just a minute. Don't go away. We'll see you soon for second half action here on Byron Tigers Live. All right, we are back and ready for second half action here in Byron as the Tigers lead the visitors from Marengo 1-0. As the black-clad Tigers of Byron come out to take their positions, we'll turn things around, by the way. Having previously been moving from right to left, south to north here, if you're familiar with the Byron area, they'll now work left to right. Not really much wind. I mean, there's a little. As you can see, the lights are on and not yet taking full effect, but they will soon. A little bit of a wind, maybe a cross breeze from right to left, but not really impacting the flight of the ball as it sometimes can. So not a factor here, really, with what side you're on. All right, back up top, Salo, Green, and Aroshai. Midfielders of Hennert, Kilduff, looks like Macy Groherring over there on that far side, and the defenders of Henkel and Haynes and Darlena Flores back there, the stopper, and this evening the sweeper playing for Erie, who's out. Ariana Irvin, if you missed it earlier, she's going to sit out for a little bit of time with just a concussion protocol. Anyway, the sophomore Aubrey Fuller doing the honors in that position tonight. All right, back to work. Salo knocks it forward. Kilduff has it. Kilduff back, Fuller. Fuller sends it forward, a little bit too strong. And then on that near sideline just below us, you can see a little bit of the hay. Now, that's not normal. It's just, remember, a brand new press box here in Byron, so they chewed up a lot of the turf, and they put that down as a precaution. But I can tell you a little bit closer in to the press box, it gets pretty muddy as they'll try to grow some grass here throughout the spring. 1-0 the score, Byron with the lead. Ball at midfield. Both teams possessing the ball at different times in the second half as we're just underway. Bryn Green working, trying to shield the ball with her body, and then turns it back up the pitch into the area. There goes Green, passes it ahead to herself, and honestly, should have been another foul there as Green had passed it ahead to herself, and then a defender kind of hindered her forward progress. Maybe someday we'll have a replay. We don't have that kind of technology yet, but certainly you can go back and watch and see if you saw the same thing that I did. Anyway, Marengo, missed opportunity moments ago. Their coach trying to call out an open player on the left, but she didn't see her. Ooh, look how patiently Roshai just alertly let the ball kind of stay at her feet there and earned the throw. All right, Roshai back to Kilduff. Juniors. Kilduff back to Salo, another junior. Kilduff sends it forward. Groherring chips it ahead, not there. Back to Green. Dispossessed by Marengo. But Kilduff is there. Little bit of rain coming down here in Byron. I mean, just a little patter, not much, but we'll monitor that. The girls won't mind. They'll slide a little farther if they hit the turf. Salo, left side to Henkel. Forward. Marengo just trying to get it up into this side of the pitch. Too many black jersey Tigers in the way. Salo goes to work, tries to find Roshai. And a Byron throw. Let's see if the Byron can cook something up here with Kilduff. Looking for Green. Green, ball at her feet. Back to Hennert. She's going to take a one-timer and out of bounds. So many things can happen when you do that. Of course, one of those outcomes is what happened. It can sail harmlessly out of bounds, but you never know if the keeper comes over, misplays it, caroms off a player, right? Setting up a scoring opportunity, or as was the case last Tuesday, Hennard actually scored on one of those long balls that found its way into the net over the outstretched hands of Pecatonica's goalkeeper, who couldn't jump high enough to stop it from sailing in. Meanwhile, another goal kick here for Marengo. So just a little bit of rain coming down, not much. That's a little sprinkle. As Marengo will take the goal kick, stolen by Kilduff. I love the effort there by the junior. Something that I would say Byron has the upper hand on, winning balls, as Kilduff is going to be whistled for a foul. Setting up a free kick here for Marengo. Still in Byron's area, though, as Hennert with a little back heel knocked it forward. And then there's Haynes, sent it high into the sky, carrying around and finally settled by Salo. Salo into the center, little chip shot there, one-timer by Roshai. just beyond that far post. So I love Byron's approach here. Good passing, winning balls, being aggressive, taking shots, and it's earned them a 1-0 lead here in the early goings of the second half. Always glad to have friends checking in, by the way. If you have me on your phone, you can text me during the game. You can give me a shout in the chat. We love to interact with fans, and for what it's worth, it keeps us going. I mean, we got this new platform, and when buddies like Andy Salo check in and say he's listening from the firehouse, who does important work, right? These firemen and women. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to watch the game. So, Andy, glad to have you along, buddy, and we're happy to be doing this. Your daughter Ava's playing great, as are the rest of the Tigers. Marengo with a little something going now. Carlin Dale checked in earlier. We're glad to have her check in, and anybody else is welcome to. Always interested to see who's listening and where you're at. All right. Oh, dangerous play, and it sails in, and Marengo has tied the ball game. How much time is left in the second? Yeah, so with about 30 minutes left here in the half. Let me come over. See, they should have built a window. Yeah, 33 minutes left. So just about 7 minutes in, Marengo has scored. Byron had done such a good job previous to that of clearing the ball, and were not able to do so and paid for it there, as Marengo has tied it up 1-1. As we grow this platform, by the way, and we get the word out, we'll get the word out to fans of our opponents as well. I mean, we're here. I mean, we're called Byron Tigers Live, right? I mean, this is a Byron platform, but we're always happy when somebody is watching from another school. And we've done several track meets, and I love talking to a guy from Lena. Well, I think he said he was at work and he couldn't make the track meet, and he's watching his daughter, and we were having a great chat. Yes, Sarah Lynch check. It's a fun team to watch for sure. And we're glad to have fans like you guys watching, supporting the kids. They're the main characters, right? Kilduff sends it forward. Roshai, she's going to cook. A little touch. Oh, and she goes down. Stavnum wanted the call there. And I think we're going to get it as Roshai hit the deck. Yeah, I think they're going to put the ball in the penalty spot, and Delaney Hennard is going to do the honors for the Tigers as Roshai went down. Again, that's why they call it the penalty area or the penalty box. And Delaney Hennard is going to take the shot. She sizes it up. I'm just going to let her work. Missed opportunity there for Byron as Delaney Hennard's shot was handled relatively easily there by the keeper. But I tell you, that's not a bad idea, because more often than not, the goalkeeper is going to dive far to their right or left. And Delaney kind of thought, hey, what if I just kind of pop it right down the middle? But the keeper didn't flinch and made the save. Klutzy listening in from the valley, just down Route 72. All right, Kilduff wants it. Far forward to Roshai. Roshai into the center to Green. Green's got Kilduff there, finds her. She'll center one, does Brooklyn. Oh, and a close call as Groharing sailed in front of the keeper. But the ball finally into the hands of that keeper, and nothing doing, but a great opportunity there. Byron winning all the balls. I mean, that's made the difference tonight for Byron. We saw that earlier this week against Pecatonica. You've got to be aggressive. You got to win balls. I mean, it sounds so obvious, right? But some teams, in fact, you'll see it on our broadcast. You'll see some players just kind of sit back and wait for the ball to come to them. More often than not, Byron not waiting. They're the aggressors going to the ball. Henkel working defensively. Good ball control there by the Marengo player, but finally loses it, and there goes Salo. And a player down, you can see on this near sideline, she's going to walk off gingerly, number 10 for Marengo. As she kind of limps off, she'll be replaced in the lineup here and see if she's okay. Number 20 checks back into the game to replace number 10 for Marengo. Meanwhile, the official holding the soccer ball out at the center circle. As we had a little delay for injury there, and he'll drop the ball, and away we go here in just a moment. Play on. Marengo, 1-1 score, by the way, here in the second half. Ball out at the center circle. Delaney Hennert knocks it forward. Nobody there. Here comes Roshai in hot pursuit, but turned by the defense. Roshai stole it away. Roshai still working down there. Ball in play. Splits a couple of defenders, finds Green. Great work by Roshai, but Green loses her footing as she knocks it towards the goal. Out of bounds. Meanwhile, Bob Larkin listening in. Wheeler's grandpa watching from Batavia. That's awesome. I love it. We're glad to have you along. And I tell you, Lily is a great kid and a great soccer player. And she's done a great job throughout the season, including tonight. So, Bob, glad to have proud grandpa listening in from the suburbs. All right, Marengo, goal kick. Lights taking a little bit more full effect. It's still not nearly completely dark here, especially with the time change recently, right? Spring forward, 7 o'clock. But it's great to be playing. Thanks, Bob. It's great to be playing out under the lights here in Byron. I'm glad that grandpas and dads and moms and grandmas and friends and even people from Stillman Valley can listen in and watch the game. Hey, speaking of, I think somebody from Stillman asked me recently if we're going to be doing some baseball. And yeah, you bet. We'll have some baseball. We'll have some softball. We've already done a couple of indoor track meets. And now as the Tigers begin the outdoor season, we'll have some of those. And I want to remind our viewers that we're not just here for athletics. We're Byron Tigers Live, and we'd like to bring you live coverage of lots of different types of events. We tried recently to do the musical, which I went to, and I can tell you it was amazing. But they're under license, New York and all that, Broadway. And anyway, we would have got ourselves in a little trouble if we had broadcast the theatrical production, which sounds a little ridiculous to me, but, somebody owns the rights to A Gentleman's Guide to Murder or whatever it was. But anyway, we've got a free kick coming up here for Byron. It looks like Salo is going to man that far post. She'll be marked now, and a little bit ambitious for Hennert as it sails high and over the crossbar. So Byron scored early in that first half. I shouldn't say early, and it wasn't right at the beginning of the ball game, but early enough to take a 1-0 lead. And that was our score at halftime as Kilduff works. Great pass ahead to Roshai. Roshai stops it. Backwards to Kilduff. The two juniors, but just a little bit out of reach of Kilduff there. And out of bounds, Brooklyn wants it quickly. Here we go. She likes to push things, and why not? She's looking for Hennert. Somebody in the center there. Henkel ahead, a little bit strong of a touch. Marengo has it. Salo gets it back. Salo, whose dad is watching from the fire station in the suburbs. And a little something brewing there. Grow herring into the area. The penalty area, that is. Penalty box, we say usually kind of in this neck of the woods, but same idea. It's the area in which a penalty would result in a penalty kick. And we had one earlier, but we're not able to score as we were denied by the Marengo keeper that time as well as this. Both keepers have done a great job tonight. All right, Kilduff wins the ball, turns it, splits a couple of defenders ahead to Roshai. I'm seeing a little bit of tired legs, and I mean that as absolutely no insult. But I wonder if Stavnum will take the opportunity to sub out here as kind of starting to get a little bit deeper into the second half. We're starting to see some tired legs. And Bob, one of those that would surely come into the game would be your granddaughter, Lily, who did a great job for us in the first half. Be nice to get some fresh legs out there here in the second as our players start to tire a little bit. One to one. Always see Bryn Green and Aaliyah Roshai. Green in the pink shoes, Roshai in the yellow. They play catch, if you will, and sailing one in, Roshai, and skipping into the hands of the keeper. All right, Haynes, had it bounce. Knocked it forward to Hennert, sends it sailing into the sky. Marengo to Delaney. Tigers using their bodies however they can to march forward. Here comes Roshai. Work. Oh, there's got to be a foul. Yep. So, I mean no insult to our listeners, our viewers. I don't know how many of you are well-versed in the rules of soccer. So you can have a foul like that and not get a yellow or a red card as Delaney Hennert sizes up and surveys the field. Let's see what she does. Number 22 for Byron. Chips it towards the goal. And a great job by the keeper. Bodies flying. No call. Just a little incidental contact down there and a fantastic job, honestly, by the keeper there as Delaney Hennert sent one dangerously right into the box, right in front of the goal. So we haven't really seen what I would consider to be like a yellow cardable offense. They call that booking, because you're in the book. The official will pull out their little pad and write your name down, naughty, and all that. But you'll have a yellow card. You almost never see a red card at this level. As a couple of players checking back in for Byron. So Green and Roshai out. Lynch and Addie Fuller back in for Byron. 1-1 second half. I love how quickly the Tigers go to work. There's Grow Herring, tracks it down far side. Again, Grow Herring, a first team all-stater in basketball, but a lot more real estate to cover here in soccer. But she hasn't skipped a beat from basketball season. Many of her basketball teammates are on this soccer team as well. All right, Fuller ahead. Salo's going to chip one forward. Saved by the keeper. I think it was just beyond that near post, but wisely secures it. There goes Marengo. Centered. They just don't have people there. It was a great looking center, but nobody was there, tracked down by Byron. How much time, guys? We got about 20 minutes left, so we're just about halfway through this second half of play. One to one, the score here in Byron. 20 minutes left. All right, into Salo. Salo, she'll try the left foot as it sails out of bounds. So I will say I'm loving this because, and I agree with Sarah, this is a fun team to watch. And at the professional level, of which I don't miss a game, a match for my Tottenham Hotspur out of the English league, but they don't shoot nearly as much, and I mean, that's one of the bad raps, if you will, that soccer gets in the United States is that people will say, well, there's not enough scoring. They don't shoot enough. It's boring, right? Well, I'm an old baseball player and I love a good pitcher's duel. Not all the time. You like to see some home runs, right? But anyway, the analogy is really a good one here for the Tigers is they will try the home run ball, if you will. So of course, figuratively speaking, sometimes you just got to try for it, right? And you got to send it in, but I'm just making an observation, not a criticism, but the Tigers, they can watch the tape later and reflect on the game, and maybe there'll be a few times where they wish they had been more aggressive, or maybe there'll be some times where they wished that they had allowed the play to develop a little bit more without making that long shot. But someone may be offended that I even brought that up, but I'm just making an observation. It's one of the great things about soccer, right? And sometimes you score on those long balls, and sometimes you don't. You got to go for the home run ball, baby. All right, Darlena Flores, she hasn't had a whole lot of work to do. I mean, she's a great player for us, but you kind of like it when her and Ari Irvin and some of the defenders don't, have to be involved too much at the sweeper or the stopper position. But she had to get involved there. Addie Fuller had it knocked away. Fuller earns the throw in. Here she comes down the near sideline. Fuller to Brooklyn. There goes Kilduff. Ooh, she turns it back forward, or back into the center, rather. There's Salo. Ball still caroming forward towards the goal of Marengo. Back to Henkel, who sends one in. A pass there with a couple of Tigers in the vicinity. And trying to win the ball, flying in there into your screen was Hainsey. Thought maybe she'd get called for a foul there, but no call was forthcoming. And meanwhile, there's Kilduff down towards the end line, and I think Byron's earned a corner. That a baby. If I'm not mistaken, this might be the first corner of the night. And you can see Delaney Hendert kind of sizing things up with the wind blowing in her direction as she chips one up. It's a good-looking ball. Ball on the turf, cleared by the defense. Marengo with a little bit of a counter opportunity, but nope, there's Aubrey Fuller who's playing tonight in place of the aforementioned Ari Irvin at that sweeper position, and she does her job, right? She came over and swept things up. Delaney, nice little move there, sends it forward to Kilduff. Instead, knocked backwards and ahead with nobody home. And I think that's been the story for Marengo. There's just nobody home, right? And I love Byron's approach, trying to get this line up high. Coach Stavdom has them well coached. The midfielders can come back and offer support defensively, but also get high up the field as needed offensively. And Marengo just not able to do that other than that one time where they scored to tie the ball game. You got to feel the momentum is on the side, though, of the Tigers. As there goes Kilduff. Knocked it back towards Lynch. Stolen, however, by Marengo. and then out of bounds. Hey, you got to credit the ball boys for working hard. I think they get. Do you guys say they get a little? They get paid? Oh boy, these some of these guys are part of the Byron Soccer Boys program, and you can see when they're at the bottom of our screen, they're working hard to deliver the soccer ball to keep things moving. Byron, in particular, likes to throw it in relatively quickly. And it sounds like they're getting a little something for their efforts. And it'll be gone in a blink of an eye, right? At McDonald's or wherever it might be. All right. Haynes. Fuller. There goes Salo. Salo, left foot, knocks it forward looking for Kilduff. Stolen by the defense, however. Great idea by number 2, Salo. There goes Grow-Herring. Down the far sideline, numbers forward for Byron. Grow-Herring working, wants to center it. Still working it, dribbling herself. Back to Kilduff. Kilduff is going to take a long shot. And not much pace and right at the keeper. I love the effort there, but nothing brewing for the Tigers. And this strong keeper for Marengo has been busy. She's also been up to the task. She's strong. Ava Salo, meanwhile, working, turns things around, and knocked out of bounds. We got a good game, folks. Tell a friend. We want to watch the tail end of this ball game. It's 1-1. Neither team has lost this season. Byron 3-0-1. I believe that Marengo came in with a record of 3-0. So two very evenly matched teams. Back to the keeper as Kilduff leaps over her, a hurdle. And that is a punishable offense, by the way, running into the keeper. As back to Hennert. Hennert steals it. Haynes in pursuit. Shields the Marengo player as quickly Fuller gets it back, but have to pause as we'll get pink shoes and yellow shoes back into the lineup. That being Green and Roshai. Salo's out, Kilduff's out, meanwhile. So fresh legs for Byron. 1-1 ball game. Marengo working towards the area, got a shot opportunity. Oh, and it's saved on the far post by Grow-Herring. Another shot. Tell you what, it was an empty goal, but Grow-Herring came back to save it. That's a fantastic play. Knocked forward. I mean, that was the go-ahead goal being set up there, and it had escaped the reach of the Byron keeper, Lemke, but Grow-Herring wisely guarding that far post and knocked it away. She'll do the honors again as she sends it forward to her teammate Roshai. One junior to another. Again, watch the yellow shoes of Roshai, who had it dispossessed. Hennert forward. Again, tired legs for both teams, you can just tell. And this evenly matched game, a little bit more conservatively subbing, I would think, for both teams. Surely less subbing than a couple of nights ago when the Tigers played Pecatonica. As Hennert loses her footing there with a little bit of a wet field. There's the sweeper, Fuller. Fuller's got to do the work, and she does. She knocks it harmlessly out of bounds. But Marengo now with momentum. Almost a bad throw in. No call. Perhaps I should say illegal. Not necessarily bad, but borderline illegal as the ball was knocked away. Marengo with the lights taking full effect here in Byron. They are the aggressors now with momentum. Byron on their back heel, if you will. Roshai has other ideas, though, and against a little bit of the tired legs of Byron, there's just not numbers forward for Byron as Roshai works that near sideline. Now we've got numbers as the line comes forward. Grow Herring back there. She'll stop the ball rolling and knocks it over to Haynes. Haynes ahead to Lynch, the sophomore, wearing number 17. A little one-on-one down that far sideline, and I believe out of bounds down there. Marengo with the throw. 10 minutes left. Salo Kilduff back in. So Coach Stabnum trying to get some fresh legs out there. As Lynch comes out, Addie Fuller comes out. See Lynch running towards the bottom right corner of your screen. Meanwhile, it'll be a Marengo throw-in on that far side of the field. Time is of the essence as we're under 10 minutes now in a 1-1 tie. Under 10 minutes. I'll try to get you an exact time here in just a minute, but we're getting down to the wire, people, as Kilduff works. Little pass to herself, chips it back in, a nice center. Who's there? Roshai takes a stab at it, right into a defender's shins. Ball still centered. Who wants it? Bryn Green, Salo, Marengo comes away with it. They're going to send it forward. Momentum now switching back towards Byron as Flores works it ahead to Grow Herring. Centered to Salo, dispossessed. But there's Haynes. She flies in. Defender trying to send it forward. Meanwhile, the stopper, or the sweeper, rather, tonight, Aubrey Fuller. Eight minutes left here in Byron. 1-1 ball game as Kilduff takes the throw. Sent forward by Marengo. They've got a player on that far side. Look at the top of your screen. Keep an eye on her. But sailing in and knocking it out of bounds. Aubrey Fuller, who's done a great job. Now, Aubrey Fuller plays quite a bit, but she is in tonight for Ari Irvin, who was not able to suit up with an injury. And Fuller has done a great job, as has her sister, Addie. All right, Marengo working. Backwards pass. Sent forward. Ooh, they're going to sky one up towards the goal. And Kenzie Lemke watched it sail harmlessly out of bounds to her left. She's learning this position is Lemke, and she's doing a fantastic job this season so far. Still learning some of the little nuances, however. Hennert, she'll send it flying. Oh, little miss hit there for Marengo. Remember, some tired legs on both sides. Marengo, good passing. Oh, and Salo denies. Salo knocks it towards the sideline. Kilduff tried to track it down, but a good job nevertheless by Salo. Folks, down to about 7 minutes left in the ball game. 1-1. If there is a next score, it's kind of that whoever blinks, whoever scores first. I mean, it's going to be the ball game. 1-1 as we stand here with about 7 minutes left. Roshai lets it bounce. Oh, Marengo, almost a poor choice there as she turned it back towards the center of the field, and lucky that they had other white jerseys in the area. Meanwhile, Marengo dispossessed by Kilduff and out of bounds. Here comes Brooklyn, the junior. Good throw forward to Roshai. Roshai, I tell you what, she is so poised. She just lets the ball kind of stick at her feet, and then she decides what she's going to do. Meanwhile, inbound, Kilduff off the throw to Salo, far post, and corralled by the keeper. Wow, this is fun. This is getting exciting. How much time, guys? About 5 minutes left. So again, I asked the score keepers up here, the scoreboard operators, because maybe they'll punch a south-facing window in here, but we really can't see the scoreboard. Oops. But a beautiful new press box here in Byron nonetheless. Okay, Marengo earned a throw. Here they come. Into no man's land in the corner, and Fuller is there to knock it away, but right to a Marengo player. There's a center. Very conservative. They're kind of keeping a line of 4 defenders at about midfield. Marengo not going for the knockout punch. Ooh, a ball sent forward. Would have been offsides had a Byron player been back there. And, of course, that's the strategy, right, with not trying to, sending your lines up. Not only can they offer a little bit more firepower offensively, but they have to keep the opponent's team onside. Anyhow, nobody able to be back there for Byron, and meanwhile, Marengo with the ball. Ball being knocked around back and forth. Both teams working. Marengo with the momentum right now in a 1-1 game. Sending one forward was Hennert, and Bryn Green in hot pursuit, but knocked away. Who wants to score? At the 3:30 mark here in the second half, 1-1. Here comes Salo. Salo sends it forward. And a slick field, but right into the hands of the keeper, who will punt it forward. 3:20 left. I love it. Byron's still working and winning balls as Hennert sends it forward, but then carrying backwards, ricocheting off an Indian player. Down the near sideline and not able to track it down. It'll be a Byron throw. Down to about 3 minutes left. In fact, 3 minutes exactly as I said that. There's the throw, Hennert. Hennert ahead to Kilduff and out of bounds. Oh, Marengo was going to throw it in there, as you can see, and then the official will have her come back a little bit with 2 minutes and 35 seconds left in the ball game. 1-1 is our score. Hennert ahead. It's a foot race. There goes Roshai. Roshai can't get there, and the defender nicely done there by Marengo as they turn the field and out of bounds, but it could and should be a Byron throw. It is. There's Roshai quickly into Green. Green working a little one-on-one. Lots of white jersey defenders. Let's see if Green takes the shot. No, to Hennert. And a Hennert shot right into the outstretched arms of the keeper. So Byron's got some chances, just not able to punch a second goal through yet at the 150 mark. .140 left. Byron working, sending one forward. Roshai's onside. Keeper comes all the way out to collect it at about the 18. Hennert flew in. Hainsey sends it forward. Hennert, little bit of a heavy touch and lost it. Back heel. There goes the stopper, Flores. Marengo, though, gets by her, and I think that's going to be a foul, which will set up a free kick for Marengo at the 105 mark. You can see Byron setting up a wall right beyond the 18 and then now backwards. Haynes faces the goal, whereas Flores and Hennert face the ball. 49 seconds left. Marengo with a free and direct kick. Here it comes. Sending it up. Oh, and it's just beyond the near upper corner. And Byron dodges a bullet there. Tie ball game, 30 seconds left. Dangerous. They've got to sail this one deep as Hennert down the near side and out of bounds. 20 seconds left. In fact, 21. Under 20 now. Throw-in being set up here for Marengo with 14 seconds. Into player for either team working on it. There's 7 seconds left. Keeping an eye on the scoreboard, folks. 1-1 ball game down to 2 seconds. 1. And there's the siren. Wow. That was exciting. And I tell you what, both teams had a great shot there at the end. And two very evenly matched teams go to battle tonight. But when all is said and done, a tie ball game, a draw, if you will, 1-1. Now, I'd have to ask Coach Stavenham. Somebody listening may know. And Bob, I appreciate that, my friend. I think in a conference game, you would go and you'd have to play a little extra time, right? I mean, you got to do a penalty shootout. In fact, that's another thing that sometimes soccer gets the bad rap for. There's even somebody listening going, how can you end in a tie? I mean, what is that? But that's a soccer thing. But if I'm not mistaken, in the actual conference games, they would go to a penalty shootout. And I know that from being a fan of both the boys and the girls teams and watching many games over the years. I think the last penalty shootout I was at, Luke Matthew was in the goal for Byron. That was down in Oregon. And but not the case in this non-conference matchup against the Marengo Indians. Folks, I think my weekend is about to start in just a few minutes after I get packed up. It's 7:30. And after a very exciting ball game in which the game ended in a draw, 1-1, I think I'm ready to call it a night. And I bet you are too. I bet these girls are ready to go home and get a little dinner and get the weekend started. Folks, it's been my pleasure, and I'm so glad to have had you along. Carlin Dale checked in, mother of Kalia. Sarah Lynch was watching. Klutzy from Stillman. And Bob Larkin, the grandparent of Lily Wheeler. And Andy Salo, who does the great work of being a fireman, was working a shift tonight, not able to be here physically, but Andy, we're glad that you were able to watch the game from afar. And there will be many more broadcasts. This is our first time doing this, right? I mean, we've done some indoor track meets, a couple soccer games. Yes, we'll have baseball and softball. In case you were wondering, I went out before spring break to check the baseball and softball fields, and they weren't ready to go as far as the press box. They still had to spray some paint, and they had the windows all blocked off. But we'll have some baseball and some softball and some more outdoor track meets, and, of course, some more soccer. I love all these programs and supporting the kids, and we'll be happy to have you along as well. So lots more to come here in the spring. So keep checking Byron Tigers Live for announcements on upcoming games. Meanwhile, this is a wrap from Byron. In an evenly matched game, the outcome 1-1. The visitors from Marengo tied things up in the second half after a goal from Byron in the first. And that's how things finish here in Byron. Again, the final 1-1 as Byron, their record now sits at 3-0-2 after a difficult schedule here to get ready for conference play. Again, the final here in Byron, 1-1 as the Tigers draw with the Indians of Marengo. This has been a proud presentation of Byron Tigers Live. We're not pandering for likes, but I tell you, if you liked what you saw, give us a like. Join us by subscribing. That's what the kids say. Subscribe. Don't forget to hit subscribe. But more importantly, we look forward to seeing you next time. Again, the final from Byron. The Tigers won. The Indians of Marengo won. This has been a proud presentation of Byron Tigers Live. See you next time, folks.